A powerful weather pattern is affecting multiple regions of the United States in dramatically different ways. What's causing catastrophic winds and widespread power outages in one area is bringing dangerous cold and whiteout conditions in another, while setting up an unprecedented Christmas warm-up for everyone. This raises an important question: how can the same weather system create such vastly different impacts? The answer lies in understanding air mass boundaries, elevation differences, and each region's position relative to the storm track. Understanding how your specific region fits into this larger pattern is crucial for the next week. In the next 22 minutes, I'll break down what's happening in each region, explain why the same weather system creates such different impacts, and detail the remarkable temperature shift coming for Christmas week. Let me start with the Pacific Northwest, where the situation is most critical right now. This region is experiencing a genuine emergency, and there's a specific reason why the Pacific Northwest is bearing the brunt of the wind and precipitation impacts. The region's position relative to the incoming storm track, combined with the terrain of the Cascades and coastal ranges, creates what meteorologists call orographic enhancement. As moisture-laden air from the Pacific is forced upward by the mountains, it releases enormous amounts of precipitation while generating powerful downslope winds on the eastern sides of the ranges. Over 600,000 homes are without power at this moment, up from 500,000 just this morning. Washington state alone has 388,000 homes in the dark. Oregon has 212,000 homes without power. When you include Texas and several other affected states, we're talking about well over 1 million people dealing with power loss as dangerous winds continue to batter the region. High wind warnings cover the Pacific Northwest, with wind gusts ranging from 60 to 80 miles per hour occurring right now. But wind is not the only threat here. More atmospheric river flooding is forecast for the remainder of this month. This represents an ongoing multi-day threat. The Cascades and Northern Rockies are experiencing heavy snow below pass levels today and again Thursday, with total accumulation of 1 to 3 feet forecast. Power outages and tree damage are likely due to the combination of heavy wet snow and wind affecting trees and power lines. These impacts continue through Thursday night. Rainfall of 5 to 10 inches is forecast across the Pacific Northwest, hitting Oregon particularly hard. This heavy precipitation extends to Idaho, western Montana, western Wyoming, and northern California. The European weather model shows another atmospheric river arriving over the next 6 days, eventually affecting northern California. An even larger storm system follows for early next week. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, here's what you need to do. Secure all loose outdoor items immediately if you haven't already. Anything unsecured becomes a dangerous projectile in these winds. Have comprehensive emergency supplies ready, including flashlights with fresh batteries, battery-powered radio, and alternative heating sources if your primary heat is electric. If you're using a generator, ensure it's positioned properly outdoors with adequate ventilation. Never use generators indoors or in attached garages due to deadly carbon monoxide risks. Review evacuation plans if you're in flood-prone areas. Know your primary and alternate routes. Have supplies packed and ready. Avoid unnecessary travel, especially through mountain passes where heavy snow combines with high winds. Understand that power restoration may take multiple days in severely affected areas. Now let me shift to the Rockies and Northern Plains, where the threats are completely different but equally dangerous. The key difference here is that this region sits on the cold side of the system. While the Pacific Northwest deals with the initial moisture and wind from the storm, the Northern Plains experience what happens when that same storm system taps into Arctic air to the north. This creates the dangerous combination of snow and extreme wind that leads to whiteout conditions. Western Montana faces avalanche warnings due to heavy snow combined with wind. Eastern Montana is under blizzard warnings. The Northern Plains face a powerful cold front bringing snow squalls with high winds. Whiteout conditions will develop across this region tonight into Thursday. Visibility will drop rapidly and persist in areas of blowing snow, making travel extremely hazardous, not just difficult, but life-threatening. The National Weather Service issued a detailed warning early this morning. Dangerous and destructive wind gusts from 50 to 70 miles per hour are forecast across the Northwest Rockies and Northern Plains through Thursday. Gusts exceeding 80 miles per hour are expected over and just downwind of higher elevations. From Montana and Wyoming across the north-central region, wind gusts of 70 miles per hour are forecast, with the most extreme locations potentially seeing 80 to 90 miles per hour. These are hurricane-force winds affecting an enormous geographic area. Travel impacts are severe across this region. Moderate impacts are forecast for a broad area with major impacts specifically designated for North Dakota, Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Upper Michigan will see snow with substantial accumulation heading to Canada and multiple feet in northwest higher elevations. If you're in the Rockies or Northern Plains, particularly North Dakota, Montana, and Minnesota tonight through Thursday represents your most critical danger period. Whiteout conditions make travel life-threatening. Visibility can drop to near zero in minutes. Wind chills will be dangerously cold. If you absolutely must travel, pack comprehensive emergency vehicle supplies, including multiple warm blankets, non-perishable food, several bottles of water, flashlight with extra batteries, first aid supplies, phone charger, sand or kitty litter for traction, small shovel, and maintain a full fuel tank. However, the safest choice is to avoid travel entirely during this period. If you become stranded, stay with your vehicle where you're more visible to rescuers. Moving to the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes, your weather story involves primarily wind threats. As this storm system moves from the Rockies eastward, the wind threat shifts with it. Wednesday night into Thursday across the Midwest brings damaging winds with some continuing snow. Within this region, wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour are forecast with higher elevations, potentially seeing 70-mile-per-hour gusts. Thursday evening, banding develops along the frontal boundary as the system moves from the Ohio Valley toward the northeast. This creates potential for a linear event, bringing damaging winds Thursday across the mid-Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes. A clipper system then moves through after the main system, potentially bringing additional winds before the next major storm arrives early next week. As that system moves across the mid-Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley toward the northeast, it will strengthen through cyclogenesis as it moves into Canada, generating 50 to 60 mile-per-hour wind gusts toward the northeast. If you're in the Midwest Ohio Valley or Great Lakes region, secure outdoor items now if you haven't already. This includes patio furniture, garbage bins, decorations, anything that could become airborne in high winds. Prepare for possible power outages by having supplies ready, including flashlights, batteries, battery-powered radio, and if your primary heat is electric, identify alternative heating methods. Thursday's thunderstorm line could produce damaging winds. Ensure you have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. A weather radio is particularly valuable during severe weather events. The southeast faces yet another variation of this pattern. Thunderstorms will develop Thursday evening across Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas, continuing overnight into Friday. These storms could produce damaging winds. While the tornado threat is low, it's not zero. Have a plan for where you'll shelter if warnings are issued for your area. Know your safe room, typically an interior room on the lowest level away from windows. The Northeast and Mid-Atlantic receive impacts Friday as this system continues its eastward progression. More storms with damaging winds will affect these regions. Thursday into Friday, moving across the Mid-Atlantic, bringing damaging wind potential with sharply colder temperatures immediately following as the system exits Friday. Friday morning travel could be significantly affected across these regions. Now let me explain the temperature pattern that will affect all regions, because this is where everyone's story converges, and understanding the mechanism behind this dramatic shift is important. We're currently in an above-average temperature pattern across much of the country. The cold front driving these wind events will bring a dramatic change. Think of the jet stream as a dividing line in the atmosphere. Right now, the jet stream has dipped southward, allowing Arctic air to spill into the United States. This creates the cold outbreak we'll experience this weekend. Freezing temperatures, even negative temperatures with very cold wind chills, will dominate through Friday and into Saturday. A clipper system brings additional cold extending through the 21st and 22nd. But by Christmas week, the jet stream makes a dramatic shift northward. This northward movement creates what meteorologists call a ridge pattern, allowing warm air from the south to surge across the country. This is what brings the Christmas week warmth and why we're calling it the Great Thaw. Friday morning brings freezing temperatures across a large area, including negative values. Wind chills will reach -10 to -20 degrees. Single-digit and teen temperature wind chills are expected across the Ohio Valley. The mid-Mississippi Valley will stay frozen with temperatures in the 20s, possibly high teens. Friday's afternoon high temperatures will moderate for much of the country, but the north-central region, Midwest Ohio Valley, and interior Northeast will remain frozen all day with persistent cold wind chills. Sunday, the Clipper system brings freezing temperatures again across the central United States, north-central region, Ohio Valley, and Midwest. Negative temperatures return along with very cold wind chills. Monday, the cold shifts toward the Ohio Valley, mid-Atlantic, and Northeast, with cold wind chills extending south across the lower 48. Then comes the remarkable shift that makes this pattern so noteworthy. Christmas week brings a dramatic warm-up. From Christmas Eve to Christmas Day, a significant temperature rise develops. This is being called the Great Thaw because of how rapidly it will melt existing snow cover. This pattern will melt everything but create flooding concerns as a result. This warm pattern persists through December's end. To put this in historical context, we've had record-breaking warm Decembers in 2015, 2016, and 2017. 2023 was globally the warmest December on record. This Christmas is shaping up to join that group, with warmth extending all the way into Canada. For Christmas, travel planning conditions will be favorable across most of the country. Christmas Eve features significant warming. Christmas Day will be warmer still. The day after Christmas remains warm. Travel weather for Christmas and following days will be good across most regions. The exception is the West Coast and Southwest, where a major storm system develops during the first days of next week, extending through Christmas Eve. The rapid warm-up will melt snow quickly, creating flood potential in areas with significant snowpack. If you're in an area with substantial snow on the ground, currently monitor local forecasts for flood warnings as we approach Christmas. This isn't minor flooding concern. The Great Thaw could cause significant runoff issues. Low-lying areas and areas near rivers and streams will need close monitoring. Let me provide additional regional specifics on the cold period before the warm-up. At -10 to -20 degree wind chills, frostbite can occur on exposed skin in 10 to 15 minutes. These are dangerous conditions requiring preparation. Check on elderly neighbors who may have difficulty maintaining adequate heat. Protect pets and livestock from extreme cold. Know the signs of hypothermia, shivering, exhaustion, confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss, slurred speech. If you observe these signs in yourself or others, seek medical attention immediately. The latest weather model updates this morning show general agreement on this pattern. The European model confirms most of the forecast. The GFS model consistently shows a pocket of 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts that the European model doesn't indicate, but the models largely align otherwise. Stronger winds around 50 miles per hour may develop toward Kansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas. The GFS has shown this feature consistently across recent runs. Understanding your region's specific challenges helps you prepare appropriately. The Pacific Northwest faces ongoing emergency conditions with power outages, dangerous winds, and flooding. The Rockies and Northern Plains face life-threatening travel conditions and extreme wind chills. The Midwest Ohio Valley and Great Lakes face damaging winds and then extreme cold. The Southeast faces severe thunderstorm potential. The Northeast and Mid-Atlantic face Friday impacts with winds and sharp temperature drops. After these regional challenges, all areas converge on the Christmas week warm-up, though the West Coast and Southwest deal with that incoming storm system. This is a complex weather pattern affecting different regions in different ways, but understanding your specific threats allows you to prepare properly and stay safe through this active period.